Men are the strongest army of the game. Rangers with Boromir form a defense that cannot be matched, and Theoden with his Rohirrim are definitely the best way to attack your opponent. You will need time to make a strong defense though, and even more time to make offense, so men are very weak in early game. When a game begins, you must decide if you want to start with defense or offense. Defense means starting with infantry and Boromir, so the first structures you should make are one barrack and one archery range. When those buildings are done, you should make 2 farms to increase your command points. You should also upgrade your archery range right away, since rangers are way more powerful than Gondor archers. First unit you should choose from barracks is one Gondor soldier and send them to destroy some of your enemy's farms. Second unit should be some spearmen to protect your rangers from opponent cavalry. When Boromir comes, you should send him right away to a lair in order to reach level 2. At level 2 he has the Horn of Gondor, which stuns enemy units and probably is the most useful mechanism for defense. Try to use this skill constantly in order to protect your base from attacks. Along with Boromir's power, you can use the ranger's special ability, Arrow Volley. Once you have stunned enemy troops, use your ranger's skill to hit the area where your opponent's troops are and you will kill most of them instantly. When you will have around 4 or 5 farms in your base, you will also need a tower. Rangers inside the tower have better range and are also protected from enemy attacks. Place 1 or 2 rangers inside in aggressive stance, 1 unit of spearmen in the bottom, and keep Boromir close by. Some heroic statues around will also be needed. You should also try and upgrade your archers with fire arrows as fast as you can, since they do more damage this way. If you want to start with offense right away, you should choose King Theoden and make 1 stables with 1 builder and 1 farm with the other one. When stables are done, clink 2 units of Gondor knights and put your builders to make some more farms. When the first unit of knights come, you should send them with Theoden to destroy some of your opponent's farms. This is important for 2 reasons. You harass your opponent and therefore make him focus on defending, but also you level up your Theoden. Theoden is very helpful from level 1 since he provides leadership for your troops, but at level 4 he has the Glorious Charge, which provides your cavalry with amazing armor. Theoden with 2 Gondor Knights and Glorious Charge can easily take down your opponent's fort. After you have made some farms around your fort, you will definitely need to start making some defense. Imagine that if you have only cavalry and your opponent attacks you with some units of spearmen, your base will be defenseless. This is why some swordmen and maybe some archers will be needed later on. Also, assuming you have 2 units of Gondor Knights with your Theoden, you should also upgrade your stables and produce some Rohirrim. Rohirrim have greater armor than Gondor Knights, and along with Theoden and Glorious Charge, they form an offense that cannot be matched. Note that if the game is 3 vs 3 or 4 vs 4, you can skip making Gondor Knights and upgrade your stables right away in order to get Rohirrim faster. This tactic, however, cannot be used in 2 vs 2 and especially in 1 vs 1 simply because you waste valuable time. Considering magic, you should just wait and see what 5 PowerPoint magic you will need. Most of the times you will either use heal for your heroes or heal structure for your fort or towers. Men provide a variety of heroes, but since they are all very slow on foot, it doesn't worth making most of them, since you lose them very easily. Most of the times you will have Boromir for defense and Theoden with Theomer along with your cavalry for offense. With Boromir, it is very important to reach him at level 2 before the first wave of attack by your opponent. He also has leadership at level 5, which gives you a chance to attack with your defense if you have no cavalry. Say you have chosen to start with defense and now have 5 units of rangers with fire arrows, some spearmen and swordmen, and of course Boromir at level 5. This is a very strong army for offense, since rangers with fire arrows can do damage to structures as well. When you do make cavalry, Theoden should be your first hero to choose, simply because you want to level him up to level 4 as fast as you can and have the glorious charge. With it, your cavalry becomes a lot stronger. But besides Theoden, Eomer is also important. He too provides your cavalry with leadership, and most importantly, at level 2, he gives you extra resources for every building you destroy. This is a major boost to your economy, so if you're playing with cavalry, Eomer is a must. Then there is Aragorn. Aragorn costs 2000 and he does great damage with his horde to enemy heroes and structures. At level 2 he has the Blade Master, which provides him with 100% armor and damage. With that skill he can easily take down a fort on his own. At level 4 he also has leadership, and at level 6 he has Elendil, which causes nearby enemies to flee. Finally, at level 10 he summons the Army of the Dead, which is perfect for killing enemy troops and heroes. Unfortunately, Aragorn, as well as all of main heroes, has very slow speed, so if your opponents send some units to hit him, you will find it very hard to draw him back. This is why Aragorn should be used only if you are planning to attack along with some infantry. And since most of the times when you are men, you will attack with cavalry, Aragorn is very rarely used, and even more rarely reaches level 10. You can still keep him in defense though along with Boromir, considering you can spare the command points and the money to make him. There is also Eowyn. Eowyn comes handy only when you are playing against Mordor. Her level 1 skill, the Spear Throw, is the ultimate weapon for killing Felbeast. Say you have chosen to start with cavalry and your opponent is Mordor and starts with Felbeast. Click Eowyn to come from your fort and also click on the heal structure magic skill from your powers. If Felbeast is still in your base when Eowyn comes, click her Spear Throw ability and then click on Felbeast. Immediately Felbeast's health will drop down to 10%. Since you will not kill it, it would be smart to let your fort's arrow to hit it first, lowering his health and then using Eowyn to kill it. With that kill, Eowyn will reach level 3, so you can then mount her on a horse and take her along with your cavalry to provide protection if more Felbeasts come along to hit your cavalry. Gandalf has some great powers, but he costs so much and dies so easily that he should be avoided. Also, Faramir is probably the worst hero of the game and you should not make him no matter what. The 3 units you will mostly use when you are men are rangers inside your towers, some tower guard to protect your towers from cavalry, and finally Rohirrim for attacking. Most of the times you will leave your archers and spearmen in your base to protect it, and you will just play with your cavalry. Be very careful how many troops you will build from each one. In the majority of the cases, your command points will be around 500 and 700, so you need to evenly split them amongst defense and offense. I would recommend making 3 rangers, 2 spearmen and Boromir for defense, and then using the rest of the command points for Theoden, Eomer and Rohirrim. If you do not have many command points, you can spare some from each unit, but you will definitely need weapons and armor upgrades to compensate the fact that you have little troops. Note that 2 fully upgraded Rohirrim are equally strong to 4 Rohirrim with no upgrades. Men fortress upgrades should only be used in mid or late game. They are not so important and most of them cost too much. You might need the first fortress upgrade, the banners, in order to provide your troops nearby with leadership. You might also need the second fortress upgrade, the House of Healing, in order to reduce the time and money needed to resurrect your fallen heroes by 20%. Other than that, you will definitely need the Numenor Stormwarp in late game to provide your fortress with better armor. After that comes the best weapon that the main fortress has, the Ivory Tower. Ivory Tower gives you better vision, but also, when you click the skill from your fort, you will get to see the entire map, so this is a very important weapon when you are planning to attack. Use the ivory tower first to see your opponent's base. See where he keeps his spearmen in order to avoid them with your cavalry and where would be the best area to attack. Ivory tower can also be used to track down opponent builders once you have taken down his fort, and he's running away trying to make some barracks elsewhere. In order to build the ivory tower though, you need to make the Numenor stonework upgrade first. Numenor stonework costs 2000 and the ivory tower 2500, so it will be a very long time before you will be in a position to pay for these upgrades. Unlike the round fortresses, main fort is rectangular, so it's harder to protect it with wall hubs. You definitely will need 4 though at the corners of your fort. The rest of the 2 spots I would recommend making some catapults and upgrading to flaming munitions, which is an excellent defense against concentrated armies. Main magic is one of the strongest of the game. At the beginning of the game, try not choosing any of the 5-point magic skills as you don't know which one you will need first. The first 2 powers you should choose are definitely the heal and the heal structure. After that, Tom Bombadil is the most useful 10-point magic skill since he can protect your fort from enemy heroes trying to take it down or even massive cavalry with his special ability, the Sonic Song. After that, I would recommend you choosing the 15-point magic skill, the Cloud Break. Cloud Break can be used for stunning enemy units just like Boromir's Horn of Gondor, only this lasts longer. Again, make sure you stun enemy units inside the area that your archers can hit them. But Cloud Break is also important for another reason. The 2 25-point magic skills from men are both very strong. Earthquake can be used to take down towers, heroic statues, and fortress fortifications in your opponent's base. The Army of the Dead is the ultimate magic skill for killing enemy troops fast. So after using those 2 magic skills together, bringing your Theoden along with some cavalry, you can pretty much destroy any base. But those 2 skills are very powerful together, so you need to get both as fast as you can. Cloud Break is the middle 15-point magic skill, so it enables you to choose both 25 power points fast. Other than that, the 15-point magic skill, the Summon of Rohirrim, can help your Theoden and your cavalry to attack an enemy base. Make sure you summon them before using Theoden's Glorious Charge to maximize their armor. When you are playing with men in late game, there are 2 buildings that you should definitely have: the blacksmith and the marketplace. Blacksmith allows weapon and armor upgrades for your army. Weapon and armor upgrades should definitely be acquired for your Rohirrim first, but also for your spearmen that you keep for defense. The marketplace gives you 3 extra upgrades that are also very important. The Grand Harvest gives you plus 10% resources from farms. Siege Materials gives you half the money you spend on a structure back when it is destroyed by enemy units, and Iron Ore gives you 25% discount on weapon and armor upgrades. Most of the times in late game you will have many leveled up farms. 10% more income from those farms means greater income, which will help you a lot with your economy. Siege Materials is a great way to save some money from buildings that are destroyed by your opponent. You no longer have to delete farms that are being hit to get half your resources back. Siege Materials does that for you. Last but not least, the Iron Ore spare you money from upgrading your troops, so you might want to use this upgrade before upgrading your army's weapons and armor. It will save you lots of money. Besides that, it is very important when you have reached late game to use some of the above mentioned strategies together in order to produce better results. For example, say you have both the 25-point magic skills and you have your fully upgraded cavalry waiting for an attack. You must use the Ivory Tower ability from your fort first in order to see the entire map. Then use your 2 25-point magic skill inside your opponent's base, and after that bring your Theoden with his cavalry. This is the strongest attack possible and it will definitely help you take down your opponent's base. Note though that you need to have all the pre-required upgrades in order to make an attack like this possible. Like when you're playing with elves, the use of healing wells is a must. Don't waste time waiting for your troops to reach level 2 or money trying to have banner carriers. Just make 1 or 2 healing wells and you are done. Also, in some cases, it might be necessary to produce some catapults. Note that if you decide to play this way, you must reduce your number of cavalry and increase your number of infantry in order to be able to protect your catapults from enemy troops. A tower or 2 might be needed near your opponent's base in order to do this. Also, don't forget to upgrade your catapults to firestones, since they do twice the damage when they have this upgrade.